Hey everybody, welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the staff and the treble clef. We're going to learn the names of the notes on the staff using a treble clef, basically. So the staff itself is made up of 5 lines, right? It's the music, the lines that music is written on is made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces. So over here we have line 1 and line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. Notice they go from the bottom up, we count them, and then we also have the spaces in between, space 1, 2, 3, and 4. So by themselves and alone, these lines are meaningless. They need a clef to assign pitches. We are going to be mainly focusing on this clef, which is the treble clef. It's called the treble clef or G clef because of the way the curly Q goes around that second line. It names that second line of the staff as G, and it's the right hand of the piano. So treble clef is usually higher notes. But there are also other clefs which we're not going to learn about just yet. This is the bass clef or F clef, and it outlines that fourth line with the 2 dots, one on top, one on the bottom, as F, and that's for the left hand or lower notes on the piano. And there's also the percussion clef or the neutral clef. And now this clef is used for drums, and there's no pitch. So there's no pitch assigned. It's used for drum sounds. For this lesson, we're going to be focusing on the treble clef, though. And with the treble clef, we have notes assigned to the lines and spaces. So let's look at the space notes first. The first space is F. Then we have A. Then C. And then E. Right? And they spell face. It's very easy to remember because the spaces spell face, and space rhymes with face, so it's easy to remember. Now let's look at the line notes. The first line note is an E, the second line is a G, then a B, then a D, and finally F. E, G, B, D, F. Now the lines don't spell anything, but you can remember them with a simple phrase, which is every good boy does fine. You can also use every good burger deserves fries, and there's a few others. You can use whatever one you want to remember every good burger deserves fries. I like the burger one. And we got some cheeseburgers in there. So I like the burger one because I think it's funny, it's easy to remember, but you can use any one you want. There's one more kind of note. We have the line notes and space notes, but there's one more kind of note, which is the ledger lines. So ledger lines are imaginary lines that extend the staff above and below. So going above, if we hit the top line note on the staff is F, but then if we extend it up, the next space up would be G. Notice the line comes in with the note, and our first line above the staff is A. Now we have that first same line come in, but we're going the space above that line, which is B, and then a C, and then a D. So we extend the staff above the, notes above the staff with the ledger lines alphabetically. We can also extend them below the staff, and if you notice, they go down in alphabetical order in reverse. So the lowest note on the staff is E, the next space down would be D, then C, then B, then A, then G. You're only going to need to know the first 2 notes above and below. So let's put all these together. So we have our space notes are F, A, C, E. We put our line notes in there. If you notice, we're starting to see them in alphabetical order. And now if we put our ledger line notes in there, those are all the notes that you should know. So C, which is middle C below the staff on the first ledger line. Then D is the first space below the staff. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, first note above the staff, and then A, the first ledger line above. All right, and those are all the notes. Let's practice identifying a couple. So the first note we have to determine, is it a line or a space? It is a space note. It lives in the space between the 2 lines. So now we count our spaces, F, and then A, and we have that note as A. Let's try another one. And we now have another space note. right? We can see it's on the space in between those two lines. And then we count from the bottom face. F, A, and then C. So this note is a C. Let's try a few more. Now we have a line note, right? It lives on the line. That line pierces right through the middle of the note. So now we have to use every good boy does fine. So we have every, or E, and then good, G, boy, B, and then D, right? Every good boy does. So this note is a D. Let's try a few more. I think we have another line note. Yes, now we're at the top line. So again, we need to use that every good boy does fine method, or every good burger deserves fries. So here's every, E, good, burger, deserves fries. And fries begins with F, so this note is an F. Now let's try a ledger line note. So we have this first ledger line above the staff. Now we have to get to this alphabetically. So the top note of the staff, yes, it's a ledger line note. The top note of the staff is an F. So we start with that F and go up through the alphabet. So we go A, B, C, D, E, F, and then the next note would be G. And then after G in the alphabet, musically, we go back to A. So this is an A. And if we do the same thing, let's A, here, there's the A. We can do the same thing below the staff. So now we have to count down alphabetically to get to this ledger line note. So we start from the bottom line of the staff, which is an E, and then the note that comes before E, A, B, C, D, E. So D comes before E, A, B, C, D. So C comes before D, and that note is C, and it's called middle C. That C has a special name. It's called middle C. So let's review real quick. So names on the treble staff. So the treble or G clef names the second line of the staff as G. The space notes spell face. Remember, space rhymes with face, so you can remember that very easily. And then the line notes, you remember them by the simple saying, every good boy does fine, or every good burger deserves fries, whichever one you want. And then finally, we're going to use this line or space counting method to identify notes until you can read the notes without that step. So if you practice enough, eventually you will no longer need to count those letters up. You'll just be able to look at the note and know what it is. But until then, use this little counting method from the bottom up, either F-A-C-E for spaces, or every good boy does fine for the lines. And that's it. I hope this helps. And if you need to look at the video, you can watch this video a few times or as many times as you want. And if you have questions, please come and see me.